The morning sun in Rosemont Heights always made the rooftops look wealthier than they really were. Claire Whitmore stood in front of the cracked bathroom mirror of her tiny apartment, practicing the same sentence she'd already rehearsed 12 times. "Good morning, ma'am. Thank you for having me." She nodded at her reflection like she was her own coach. "Okay, Claire. Don't stutter, don't sweat, and don't accidentally call the fancy lady bro." Behind her, her mother, Margaret Whitmore, widowed, gentle, but with the praying power of 30 saints, stood with a hand on her daughter's shoulder. "Claire, sweetie," Margaret said softly, "I know you're nervous, but you've got grace, you've got intelligence, and you've got heart. That's more than money." Claire smiled. "Mom, the job is literally cleaning floors. I hope heart counts for something." "Oh, it does," Margaret said, gripping her hands. "Now let me pray." And she did, long, passionately, and with full volume like she was speaking directly into God's customer service hotline. Claire stood respectfully, whispering amen in all the correct places, though her brain kept drifting back to the interview. When the prayer was over, Margaret cupped her cheek. "Go, show them who you are." Claire grabbed her bag and stepped onto the quiet street. The taxi ride to Crestwood Hills, the richest neighborhood in the state, felt like traveling between dimensions. One moment she was passing pawn shops and laundromats. The next she was surrounded by houses with gates taller than her future. Her phone buzzed. Logan Pierce, her boyfriend, had texted, "Babe, good luck. If you get the job, I swear I'll scream." Followed by 8 heart emojis, 2 biceps emojis, and 1 very questionable winking face. Claire typed back, "I'll do my best. Pray I don't spill anything." When the taxi arrived at the mansion, Claire paid the driver and tried not to drop her jaw. 2 floors, white marble steps, windows you could host conferences behind. "This isn't a house," Claire whispered. "This is a building with DNA." She rang the doorbell. Within seconds, it opened. A tall, graceful woman with silver blonde hair stood there wearing a cashmere cardigan and diamond earrings that probably had their own security schedule. "Good morning," she said warmly. "You must be Claire." "Yes, ma'am," Claire said, hoping her voice didn't sound like a scared squirrel. "Thank you for having me. I mean, thank you for inviting me. I mean, thanks for, opening the door." Smooth, so smooth, like spilled yogurt. But the woman chuckled. "I'm Evelyn Blackwood. Please come in." The mansion was a museum pretending to be a home. Wide hallways, sculptures, a chandelier that could host small planets. Evelyn led her to the kitchen and offered her water. "So Claire," she said gently, "tell me about yourself." Claire explained everything truthfully. She finished school but couldn't afford university after her father died. She helps her mum. She reads constantly to improve her vocabulary. She works hard. She's grateful for any opportunity. Evelyn nodded slowly. "You speak beautifully. You carry yourself well, and you seem honest. I like honest." Claire smiled, relieved. "Thank you, Mum. I hope you don't mind," Evelyn said, "but I'll need to see how you handle the kitchen. Could you prepare a simple dish? Something quick?" "Of course," Claire replied. "I can do that." Inside, she panicked. Outside, she looked like a woman who believed in herself. For 20 minutes, she cooked quietly, carefully. The kitchen smelled warm and comforting by the time she finished. Evelyn tasted it first. Her eyebrows shot up. "Well," she said, "this is perfect." Claire exhaled. Maybe she wouldn't die today. Later, Evelyn's adult son, Adrian Blackwood, walked into the kitchen. Claire didn't know he was coming. She didn't know he was the heir to the Blackwood fortune. She didn't know he was the man she had once unknowingly told, "Sir, please join the line. We all have groceries, too." Yes, that guy. The supermarket guy. Adrian looked at her. His eyes narrowed. "You," he muttered. "Oh no, not this man again." Claire stood straighter. "Good afternoon, sir." He folded his arms. "You work here now?" "She's the new housekeeper," Evelyn said proudly. "Isn't she wonderful?" Adrian stared at Claire like she'd stolen his wallet, but Evelyn smiled. "Claire, welcome to the Blackwood home." Claire smiled back. She was hired. And somewhere between relief and fear, she whispered to herself, "God, please let me not die here." Claire's first official morning in the Blackwood mansion felt like stepping into a lifestyle documentary. She was definitely not prepared to film. Everything gleamed. Even the doorknobs had a kind of confidence she didn't naturally possess. She walked carefully through the hallway, terrified she might accidentally breathe wrong and knock over something that cost more than her entire neighborhood. Evelyn Blackwood toured her through each room, speaking with the polished grace of a woman who had spent decades living above everyone else's financial stratosphere. "And this," Evelyn said while opening a door that looked like it belonged in a fairy tale, "is the dining room." Claire stared at the 14-seater glass table, the sculpted flowers, the priceless artwork. "This room is bigger than my whole apartment," Claire whispered. Evelyn smiled. "You'll get used to the space." "Space? Ma'am, this place has zip codes inside zip codes." Evelyn chuckled. "You're funny. You remind me of myself when I first moved into a mansion and thought the master bedroom had its own weather system." They continued the tour. Claire's anxiety melted. Evelyn was warm, welcoming, and had the kind of motherly charm that could probably calm a hurricane. But then, footsteps echoed from the staircase, like someone stomping on purpose. Adrian Blackwood descended the steps in a fitted charcoal shirt, sleeves rolled up, jaw sharp enough to slice paper. He looked like a man who had everything, except patience. He spotted Claire, and his expression said, "Why is the supermarket girl still alive?" Evelyn beamed. "Good morning, sweetheart." Adrian grunted in response, eyes still fixed on Claire. She cleared her throat. "Good morning, sir." He raised an eyebrow. "Ma'am," he said to his mother, ignoring Claire completely, "did we run out of qualified applicants, or is this a new charity project?" Claire blinked. "Wow, straight bullets this early?" Evelyn frowned. "Adrian, please. I'm just asking," he said, hands in pockets, "because I thought housekeepers were supposed to, keep houses, not argue in supermarkets." Claire's face heated. "Sir, I wasn't arguing. I simply asked you to join the line like everyone else." Adrian shot her a look that said he wasn't used to being corrected, especially by someone earning minimum wage plus one prayer. "Are you sure we need her here?" he muttered to Evelyn. "Yes," Evelyn replied firmly, "and that's final." Adrian's jaw twitched. He wasn't happy, not even a little, but Claire had bigger problems. Her phone buzzed. "Logan Pierce. Baby, how's the mansion job? Don't forget to send me updates. And also, how much do you think I'll earn?" "Just asking respectfully." Or of Claire sighed. Love wasn't blind. Sometimes it just pretended to be legally unaware. "Claire," Evelyn said, snapping her attention back. "Your schedule is simple. Morning cleaning, meal assistance, laundry on Wednesdays, and keeping Adrian alive, emotionally or physically, whichever is harder." Claire nodded. "Understood. I can do all that, except maybe the keeping Adrian alive part. He seems determined to kill himself with attitude alone." Evelyn laughed so hard she had to hold the kitchen counter. Adrian didn't laugh, not even a lip twitch. "Mother," he said sharply, "is this supposed to be amusing?" "Oh, darling," Evelyn replied, "you're amusing every day." Adrian inhaled deeply, like he was taking a personality break. But Claire noticed something strange. Behind all the arrogance, all the sharp edges. Something in his eyes flickered. Not softness. No, he wasn't that advanced emotionally, but recognition. Like he remembered her courage at the supermarket, more vividly than he wanted to admit. He turned away before she could figure it out. "Do your job," he said coldly, "and try not to get in my way." Evelyn sighed. "Don't mind him. He needs therapy, coffee, and a gentle slap, preferably in that order." Claire grinned. "Noted, ma'am." And that was her first real morning as a Blackwood employee, welcomed by Evelyn, tolerated by the art on the walls, and silently cursed by Adrian. Little did she know this was only the warm-up level of chaos. If Claire thought Adrian Blackwood's attitude on day one was dramatic, she had no idea the man had levels. Real levels, Olympic levels. If attitude was cardio, he would have burned 900 calories before breakfast. By the tea-herd morning, she learned the rhythm of the mansion. Evelyn = peace. The kitchen = safety. Adrian = pure psychological cardio. It started with his breakfast. "Claire," he called from the living room without looking up from his tablet. "I need an energy drink. Don't just get anyone. Get the one with the lightning bolt. Extra cold." "Yes, sir." She returned with it. He took one sip. "It's too cold." Claire blinked. "Sir, you asked for extra cold." "No, I asked for cold." He pointed at the can like it had personally failed his destiny. "And this one is disrespectful." Claire inhaled deeply and walked back to the kitchen, whispering, "Give me strength, Lord, not the kind where I slap him, the holy kind." Next came the laundry. Adrian dumped his clothes beside her feet. "I want these hand-washed." "But sir," Claire said, pointing to the laundry room, "there's a high-end washing machine. The label says, hand wash. Use your hands." Claire stared at the expensive shirt. "It's from a brand that sells jeans for $900, he added. "Treat it with respect," she muttered under her breath. "Sir, even the shirt is richer than me." Later that day, the mansion's Drama Olympics officially began. Evelyn was preparing to leave for her charity gala when she realized her car keys were missing. "I always place them on the table," she said, frowning. "They're not here." Adrian folded his arms and tilted his head toward Claire. "Well," he said dryly, "maybe someone put them in the trash." Claire froze. "What, sir? I would never." "Accidents happen." Adrian flashed a smug smirk. "Right, Claire?" Evelyn hesitated. "Claire, sweetheart, could you just check the trash bin, just to be sure?" Claire nodded slowly, trying not to show the heartbreak in her chest. She knelt beside the trash bin and stuck her hands inside the bag, praying the floor would swallow her whole. Adrian leaned casually against the counter, sipping his drink like he paid for the emotional damage he was causing. "Oh wow," he said. "Look at that. Our housekeeper is digging through trash. If capitalism had a poster, this would be it." Claire wanted to throw the trash bag at his head, but she peacefully chose Jesus. After searching every corner of that bin, banana peels, salad leftovers, some suspicious yogurt, she stood up with garbage-covered hands. "They're not here." Adrian shrugged. "Maybe you didn't dig deep enough." She looked at him sharply. "I dug deeper than your moral values, sir." Evelyn gasped. Adrian choked on his drink. For once, Claire didn't care. She washed her hands, refusing to let him see her cry. Later, while cleaning the kitchen, she spotted something shiny behind the blender. The keys, perfectly placed. Not dropped, not misplaced. Placed, she whispered. So this was deliberate. And right there in that enormous, spotless, sunlit kitchen, Claire Whitmore understood her new reality. She wasn't just working in the Blackwood mansion. She was the star of an unrequested reality show titled The Househelp They Tried to Break. But Claire wasn't breakable. She stood straighter, looked around the kitchen like she was preparing for war, and whispered, "I'm still here. Try harder." From that moment on, the mansion became a battlefield. Not loud, not violent, but silent, calculated, emotional warfare, the kind that leaves scars you don't see. Every task Adrian gave her was a chance to humiliate her. Every smile Evelyn gave her was a reminder to stay strong. And every night, Claire texted Logan, hoping he would say something encouraging. But Logan only replied with things like, "Babe, can you send me $50? I need to fix my hair," or "My interview went bad again. I think your new job is stressing my energy." Claire sighed after each message. If life was a buffet of problems, she was eating for three. But this wasn't the end. This was only the beginning. The war had quietly started, and neither she nor Adrian realized that something else was beginning too, something far more dangerous. Not love, not romance, just sparks. The type that appear when two opposites crash repeatedly. Claire didn't know it yet, but the mansion wasn't done testing her, and Adrian Blackwood definitely wasn't done provoking her. Claire lasted 3 weeks in the mansion without throwing a single object at Adrian Blackwood, which in her opinion qualified her for the Nobel Peace Prize. She was starting to memorize the rhythms of the house, the way some people memorize TikTok dances. Evelyn moved like Grace in human form. The staff worked like the building had a GPA to maintain. Adrian entered rooms like a walking notification of stress. But even stress had layers, and Adrian was beginning to collect new ones. Every evening after work, Claire dragged her tired bones up to her small room in the East Wing and called Logan. The conversations went the same way every time. "Hey babe," she said, rubbing her forehead. Logan sighed dramatically. "Clara, everything went bad again today. The universe hates me. Also, I'm starving." "Did you eat the groceries I bought?" "I ate them emotionally," he replied. "My spirit is full." That meant I ate nothing. Claire pinched the bridge of her nose. "Logan, please try. I can send you a little." "Yes, send something. Just $40 or 50, whichever your heart feels." Her heart felt responsible for someone who made no effort to help himself. Still, she sent it. Every time. Because loyalty to Claire wasn't a word, it was a lifestyle. What she didn't realize was that loyalty would soon be the very thing tested. One afternoon, while cleaning the hallway, Claire heard Adrian's voice downstairs. "Yes, come in," he said, in a tone suspiciously softer than his usual shark-like voice. Claire peeked from the staircase. A ridiculously beautiful blonde woman stepped in. Silky hair, perfect nails, an outfit that screamed, "My credit score is higher than your future." She threw herself at Adrian with a hug that belonged in a perfume commercial. Claire muttered, "Oh wow, so he does have a heart, or at least working arms." She quietly returned to dusting when Evelyn approached. "Claire dear, please serve our guests some lemonade." Claire nodded and headed to the kitchen. When she entered the living room, the blonde woman was perched dramatically on the sofa, laughing at something Adrian said. It was the kind of laugh that sounded rehearsed. Claire set the drink on the table. "Here you go, ma'am." The blonde looked up and blinked hard, like she'd seen dust unexpectedly gain intelligence. "Oh," she said, "you have staff." "Yes," Adrian replied, taking a sip of his drink. "A new housekeeper." Claire smiled politely, then quietly left. 5 minutes later, the front door slammed. Claire looked up from polishing a vase. The blonde woman stormed out, heels clicking like thunder, shouting, "You know what, Adrian? I don't need this." The door shut violently. Claire froze. Oh no, here it comes. Footsteps, heavy ones. Adrian appeared, jaw clenched, eyes sharp. "What did you say to her?" Claire blinked. "Sir, nothing. I just gave her a drink." He stepped closer. "Don't play innocent. She walked out because of you." "Or," Claire said carefully, "because of you." Adrian opened his mouth to argue, but paused. She watched confusion flicker across his expression, like he wasn't used to being confronted with logic. He looked frustrated. Then he turned away abruptly. "I'm watching you, Claire," she whispered. "Sir, I'm not Netflix. Why are you watching me?" He froze mid-step, glancing back, almost smiling, but he stopped himself like smiling was a punishable offense. As days passed, something odd began happening. Adrian softened, not fully, not publicly, not consistently, but enough for Claire to notice. When she carried heavy boxes in the pantry, he lingered at the doorway longer than needed. When she dusted the shelves, he'd watch as if trying to understand something he couldn't admit. And once, only once, she caught him looking at her reflection in the oven glass, not with irritation, but with a confused, reluctant warmth. Claire stepped aside instantly, pretending she hadn't noticed, pretending her heartbeat didn't skip like a faulty Spotify shuffle. The real shift happened on a Thursday night. Claire was wiping the kitchen counters when the front door opened loudly. Adrian stumbled in, shirt half untucked, tie loose, eyes glossy. He reeked of whiskey and expensive regret. "Good evening, sir," Claire said cautiously. He looked at her like he was trying to recognize a painting. "You," he slurred. "Yes, sir, me." He pointed at her chest with a wobbly hand. "You are too loud." Claire blinked. "Sir, I haven't spoken." "Well, your face is loud." Claire snorted before she could stop herself. Adrian stepped closer, lowering his voice. "You know, you're really not what I thought." "And what did you think, sir? That you'd break?" Claire's brows lifted. "Break?" He nodded, leaning against the counter. "You'd take everything, the errands, the insults, the stress. You don't fight back. You just endure. Most people I know would have quit on day 3. Claire rolled her eyes. "Sir, I can't quit. The rent won't pay itself." He huffed a laugh. "Fair enough." Then he did something unexpected. He sat on the kitchen stool, quietly, peacefully, like her presence was somehow grounding him. But the fragile moment didn't last long. Footsteps echoed. Evelyn walked in. She saw her son and immediately stiffened. "Adrian," she said sharply, "you promised you'd stop coming home like this." "I didn't promise," he muttered. "I emotionally considered it." Evelyn sighed deeply, the kind of sigh mothers use when they're choosing mercy over homicide. She noticed Claire watching discreetly and lowered her voice. "I can't keep doing this," she whispered to Adrian. "This lifestyle of yours, it's not sustainable." Adrian rubbed his temples. "Mom, please." But the exhaustion in Evelyn's eyes broke Claire's heart. This wasn't just a spoiled man. This was a lonely one, lost, hurting somewhere he never allowed anyone to see. And Claire, painfully observant, saw it. She didn't say a word. She just stood there, wiping the same spot on the counter 3 times, praying neither of them noticed the empathy on her face. That night, Adrian walked past her as he headed upstairs. He paused, looked at her. His voice was surprisingly soft. "Good night, Claire," she swallowed. "Good night, sir." And for the first time, he meant it. Claire woke up the next morning with a headache shaped exactly like Adrian Blackwood's behavior. She stood in front of the mirror, tying her apron, giving herself a pep talk like she was her own life coach. "Claire Whitmore," she whispered, "you have survived laundry warfare, emotional terrorism, and trash bin archaeology. You can survive today." She patted her cheeks twice for motivation and marched downstairs. Breakfast went smoothly, almost too smoothly. Adrian didn't snap at her. He didn't throw any smart insults. He didn't say, "Claire, this toast is too toasted," or "Claire, this butter is too buttery." No, he simply nodded and said, "Thanks." Claire froze with the juice tray in her hands. Was she hallucinating? Should she call an ambulance? Evelyn raised a brow too, whispering, "Did he hit his head last night?" Claire shrugged. Maybe the alcohol burned his attitude, but the peace didn't last. Later that afternoon, Adrian called her to his office. That was never a good sign. His office was intimidating. Dark wood shelves, expensive books, a desk large enough to land a helicopter. Adrian stood behind it, arms crossed, looking at her like she'd interrupted his whole personality. "Claire," he said sharply, "my protein bar is missing." Claire blinked. "Sir, your what?" "My protein bar. I left it on my desk. Now it's gone. So file a police report." He ignored her. "I'm not saying you ate it. Sir, why would I commit protein theft? But you're the only one who comes in here." Claire put her hands on her hips. "Sir, I clean, I wipe, I organize. I don't snack on people's protein." He frowned as if reconsidering the evidence in his imaginary case. "Fine," he muttered. "Just be careful next time." Claire walked out of the office mumbling, careful not to touch the protein bar that already disappeared into the Bermuda Triangle of your life. That evening, Claire FaceTimed Logan while folding laundry. The call connected to Logan, sitting dramatically on his couch, in total darkness, like he was expecting thunder to strike him any moment. "Claire," he sighed, "my life is collapsing." "What happened this time?" she asked gently. "I didn't get the job." Claire frowned. "Logan, you didn't tell me you had an interview today." "That's because I didn't," he said. "But I planned to, in my heart." Claire rubbed her forehead. "Logan," he cut her off. "Also, I need new shoes. My old ones squeak. People think I'm whistling." Claire closed her eyes. Here we go again. Another financial request disguised as emotional collapse. She transferred him money. Again. Logan brightened instantly. "You're the best girlfriend ever. If I ever get rich, I swear I'll reimburse you. Maybe not full, but something." "Wow," Claire muttered. "Romance is alive." The next day, chaos returned. Evelyn rushed into the living room, pale. "Claire," she shouted, "have you seen Adrian's wristwatch?" Claire blinked. "The gold one, with the blue dial?" "Yes," Evelyn said. "It's missing." "Oh no," Claire whispered. "Not another missing item." Because missing items in the Blackwood mansion always pointed in one direction. Her. She was the human lost and found scapegoat. Adrian stormed into the room. "Claire," he snapped, "did you tidy my room today?" "Yes, sir." "Did you move anything? As in, your watch?" "Yes." "No, sir. I didn't touch it." He stepped closer, eyes sharp. "It didn't disappear on its own." Evelyn held up a hand. "Adrian, let's not assume." "No," he cut her off. "Every time something is missing, she's nearby. It's a pattern." Claire felt heat creep up her neck. A pattern? The only pattern she noticed was his ability to turn breathing into drama. But her voice remained calm. Sigh, with all due respect, I don't go into your drawers or your closet unless asked. Adrian scoffed. Convenient. Evelyn frowned at her son. Adrian, that's enough. No, Mom, I want my watch now. Claire looked him dead in the eye. Sir, I didn't take it. He stared back with the belief of a man who trusted nobody but his mirror, and then a voice interrupted them. Found it. They all turned. The butler, Thomas, walked into the room holding the watch high, like a trophy. It was under a pile of shirts on Mr. Blackwood's dresser, Thomas announced. Claire raised a slow eyebrow. Adrian's face drained color. Evelyn crossed her arms. Adrian, I didn't hide it, he stuttered. I didn't know. Claire folded her arms with the patience of a woman who had truly reached the end of her spiritual data plan. Evelyn turned to Claire. I'm sorry for the misunderstanding, dear. Thomas nodded respectfully at her. Adrian simply stood there, humiliated. Later that evening, Claire was wiping the counter when she sensed someone behind her. She turned. Adrian, not yelling, not scowling, not belittling, just standing there, hands in pockets, eyes unusually soft. Claire, he said quietly. About earlier. She waited. I shouldn't have accused you. Her brows lifted in surprise. He was apologizing. Adrian Blackwood. Apologizing. Was this a game show? Where were the cameras? She nodded slowly. Thank you, sir. He hesitated. I've been tense lately. Sir, you stay tense. It's your personality. He huffed a laugh, a real one. Good night, Claire. She bit back a smile. Good night. And this time, when he walked away, she noticed something unexpected. He didn't look angry, or annoyed, or murderous. He looked human, and that was the most dangerous version of him yet. Claire always believed chaos had a pattern. Mondays were for misplaced wallets. Wednesdays were for emotional breakdowns, usually Logan's. And Adrian? Adrian was an entire season of chaos with no commercial breaks. But nothing prepared her for the day the entire mansion turned into a live-action courtroom, and she was the defendant. Claire entered the kitchen with her usual morning pep talk running in her head. Claire Whitmore, don't cry, don't faint, don't punch your employer's son. You are elegance, you are grace, you are unpaid emotional labor. She tied her apron and started setting the breakfast table, but the mansion felt strange, too still, too silent. Even the chandelier seemed to be waiting for drama. Then, footsteps, heavy ones. Adrian walked in, jaw clenched, shirt perfectly pressed, hair slightly messy from what looked like 0 hours of sleep. He didn't greet her, he just dropped a folded newspaper on the marble table and pointed at her silently. Claire blinked. Oh, morning to you too, sir. Lovely weather, love the sunshine, love your mood, very murder mystery. He didn't laugh, not even a twitch. Not good at all. Claire, he said quietly, we need to talk. The last time someone told Claire those words, Logan needed money again. This felt worse. She straightened. Is something wrong? Adrian stepped aside. Behind him stood two of his friends, Samuel Foster and Blake Hartman, tech bros, gym bros, men who probably said things like protein and believed emotional intelligence was a vitamin supplement. Samuel smirked. Blake cracked his knuckles. Claire swallowed. Blake leaned in. So you're the housekeeper? Yes, sir. Samuel raised a brow. And you had access to Adrian's room yesterday. I clean it every day. Samuel tapped the table. Interesting, because there's something missing. Oh no, not again. Claire exhaled. Gentlemen, I swear if it's another protein bar, it's not a protein bar. Adrian snapped. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small velvet box. It was empty. Where is it? He demanded. Where is what? Claire asked, confused. My ring. Claire blinked. Your what? A ring, Adrian repeated. A limited edition family heirloom. It was in this box yesterday. Claire blinked again, this time twice, wondering if she was stuck in a soap opera where missing objects spawned spontaneously for plot reasons. Sir, I don't touch your jewelry, she said firmly. Samuel crossed his arms. Then why was the box open? Blake pointed. And why were you the last one in his room? Evelyn rushed into the kitchen, breathless. What's going on? She asked. Adrian held up the empty box. Mother, my ring is gone. Evelyn's face fell. Oh dear. Claire stepped forward. Ma'am, I didn't touch it. I only folded his clothes. And what? Adrian demanded. Did the ring grow legs and walk away? Claire clenched her jaw. Only Jesus himself could keep her from throwing a pan at his head. Sir, she said slowly, I respect your property. I don't steal, Samuel scoffed. That's exactly what a thief would say. Blake nodded. Yep, textbook. Evelyn gave her a sad look. Claire, darling, are you absolutely sure? Yes, Claire replied quickly. Yes, ma'am. I swear, I didn't take anything. Adrian paced back and forth like a judge preparing a dramatic sentencing. Then he stopped suddenly and looked at her, really looked at her. His eyes softened for half a second. Claire, he said, if you know something, tell me. Claire felt the weight of the entire mansion pressing on her. Sir, she whispered, I'm innocent. Before Adrian could respond, Thomas, the butler, entered, holding something. A ring. Adrian's ring. Apologies, sir, Thomas said calmly. I found this under your office chair. You must have dropped it yesterday while working. Silence fell across the kitchen like a stunned blanket. Samuel froze. Blake stopped breathing. Evelyn exhaled in relief. Adrian's face turned 3 shades of regret. Claire just crossed her arms. Oh, look, she said softly. Another missing item that magically teleported. Adrian swallowed. Claire held up a hand. No, sir. Let me say it. Please stop assuming the worst of me. I work hard. I'm careful. I'm respectful. I'm not here to rob your mansion, or your protein bars, or your ancient jewelry. Samuel looked away awkwardly. Blake scratched the back of his Haydee like a malfunctioning robot. Evelyn approached gently. Claire, I'm so sorry. Claire nodded. It's fine, ma'am. It's okay. But it wasn't okay. Not even close. Adrian stepped closer. His tone different this time. Claire. I apologize. I jumped to conclusions. She didn't answer. She couldn't trust her voice not to break. But Adrian looked at her with something she hadn't seen on his face before. Fear. Fear that he'd truly hurt her. Fear that she wouldn't forgive him. Fear that he wouldn't get another chance to speak. His voice softened to a whisper. It won't happen again. And for the first time since she entered the mansion, Claire believed him. But fate wasn't done with either of them. Because peace was never free in the Blackwood household. And the real storm, it was already waiting at the door. The mansion had never felt so tense and so quiet at the same time. After the ring incident, Claire moved through the house like someone trying to avoid stepping on emotional landmines. The air around Adrian felt different. Less sharp, less hostile, almost careful. He watched her the way people watch sunsets. They don't want to admit they enjoy. Something had shifted between them. Not loudly, not intentionally, but unmistakably. For the first time since she arrived at the Blackwood estate, Claire didn't feel like prey. She felt seen. And the strangest part was, Adrian looked just as confused about it as she felt. That evening, Claire was wiping the kitchen counter for the 3rd time, nerves buzzing in her stomach. She had been replaying Adrian's apology all day. His voice, his eyes, the way guilt softened him into someone she almost didn't recognize. She looked up and caught him staring at her from the doorway. He wasn't leaning or posturing or glaring. He was simply standing there, hands in pockets, expression unreadable, like he was wrestling with a thought too fragile to say out loud. Claire cleared her throat. Sir, Do you need anything? He walked forward slowly, almost unsure of his own feet. Claire, he said, his voice lower than usual, I wanted to thank you. For what, sir? For being patient with me, for not quitting, for enduring the mess I've been, and for staying. Claire pressed her lips together, fighting the instinct to look away. I stay because it's my job. He nodded, though something in his shoulders dropped. Disappointment, maybe. He moved closer, not dangerously, not arrogantly, just human. I want you to know, he continued, that I'm trying. I don't always get things right, or handle people well, but I'm trying. Claire's breath hitched. This wasn't the Adrian she knew. This was someone peeled open, stripped of pride. For a moment neither of them spoke. The silence wasn't heavy. It was warm, delicate, waiting. Claire finally whispered, I see that. Adrian looked at her like those 3 words meant far more than she intended. He leaned against the counter beside her, not too close, but close enough for her to feel the shift between them. Claire, he said softly, there's something else. The mansion's doorbell cut through the air like a knife. Adrian paused mid-sentence. Claire stiffened, and the universe decided to clock in early for overtime. They heard footsteps at the front entrance, a muffled voice. Evelyn greeting someone politely. Then Claire, Evelyn called out from the foyer. Someone is here for you. Claire's heart dropped into her stomach. Someone? Here for her? Adrian straightened instantly, alert. Concern flickered across his face. Claire stepped out of the kitchen, nerves creeping up her spine. She walked down the hallway, each step loud in her ears, Adrian following her silently a few paces behind. She reached the foyer and froze, standing in the middle of the marble entrance, wearing his favorite denim jacket, hair messy, face hopeful and desperate at the same time. Logan Pierce, her boyfriend, at the mansion, uninvited, unexpected, unannounced. Claire, Logan breathed out, stepping toward her with outstretched arms. Thank God, I came to see you. I need to talk to you. Claire felt her pulse spike. Her mouth opened, but no words came out. Adrian watched from behind, expression darkening, not with anger, not with jealousy, but something far deeper and far more dangerous. Logan turned, finally noticing Adrian. Oh, who's he? Logan asked casually, unaware of the storm he'd just walked into. Claire didn't answer. Adrian didn't either. The silence split the room in half. And just like that, the tension froze the room in place, with 3 lives about to collide in ways none of them were ready for. If this moment grabbed you, don't slip away just yet. Hit the like button to support the channel, subscribe so you don't miss what happens next, and turn on your notifications, because part 2 is coming, and trust me, the storm hasn't even started.